Hello, Deborah. And here we are from Jigsaw to live.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to be back again.
Oh,
Got more music playing in the background.
yes.
There we go. Actually,
There.
I love the creativity when you put those things together. I gotta say, you as your engineering background and your techie thing, always keep it interesting for us.
Yes, and now we have something just as interesting, how to get our stuff in front of as many people as possible on LinkedIn, which is a challenge that most people have. It's so very competitive, and there are so many people wanting to do that it's important to know the ways, maybe the tricks that are out there. It's important to know what they are because it helps us to get in front of more people, which is what we all want to do. And I
Yeah.
understand that you have a PowerPoint to drive us through these ways, Deborah.
Yes, definitely. So why don't we get into that, share that with our audience, and we can talk about some of the elements that become really important for, the big question is, do we go online or do we not go online? Are we supposed to be more offline or online? So we'll let you share that first slide there, Moreno. Good. So we know that LinkedIn is important. I mean, Moreno and I have been on LinkedIn for a while, engaging people, even private messaging people, sharing information, sharing content and information for people to add value, which is really important. So the idea is it's engagement that becomes really an important thing. Would you agree, Moreno?
Engagement is key. Unless we engage people, our communication halts.
Yeah, definitely. So if you as an audience haven't been really sitting on the online world for quite a bit of time, this is really what you need to be able to do. And it's certainly at this point way more effective than the offline aspect. And I realize that now that the pandemic has kind of moved over and has kind of changed, people are opening up. We're having more live events taking place. The engagement of people is really important, whether you're doing it in person or whether you're doing it online. But really, Moreno, you and I favor the online world because this is really leveraging your time and your energy. And this is so important because when you're trying to build a business and you're wearing a variety of different hats, there's a lot of different things to do within a company, within a business, and you're engaging different people, leveraging the technology in the online world is more important than ever now. And because it does save you time, it does save you energy. And as long as you're working with the right elements in technology, it can save you a lot of grief as well. What are your comments on that, Moreno?
The word that I hear from you repeatedly is saving. Saving time is so very important, and saving energy. An analogy is that sometimes we think that when we are busy doing things, it's a good thing, but we may be wasting time because we're doing maybe urgent things, but not things that are important. And it's the same with going online. Yes, we are accustomed to going to doing things offline, to meeting people face to face, to networking the traditional way. That's all very well. However, that takes time and it takes energy and it's costly. An alternative way is meeting online. It's relatively new. People feel uncomfortable. However, it is a new way of doing things. We need to get accustomed using new technology because that way we are more, it is much easier to meet people and more people as well because now geography is no longer a boundary. We can meet anyone anywhere that has an internet connection, Deborah.
I agree. Those are really excellent points, Moreno. So let's get into the next slide here for our audience. So the idea is the competition online has exceeded most people's expectations now that the online world has really exploded. And so it becomes way more difficult to capture and hold people's attention online. And so we have to be able to leverage the tools that are given to us. So listen, we're on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has really maximized the tools that make it so much easier for us to engage with people. And so now we're doing, 3/4 of the B2B marketers, we're driving engagement harder than ever than a year ago. So this becomes important. Any other points you want to add on this, Marino?
It's very important to get people's attention and keep people's attention. And the way to do that is to provide information which is useful, informative, educational, and I would like to say most important, entertaining. However, that requires a lot of practice and a lot of work. However, it's something that we need to do. And the more we do it, the easier it gets. It's always more daunting at the beginning, especially when one has to ask, where do we start? So the best thing is to take action now. And things, bearing in mind that things become easier as we become accustomed to the new way of doing things.
I agree, absolutely. So let's jump into that next factor, which is, of course, the factors responsible for driving that engagement and online, which makes things really competitive. So we've got increased competition because more and more people are online. More and more people are engaging in different platforms of social media. So we have this whole aspect of digital transformation, and there's many more platforms, many more apps, pieces of technology that are different and new that people are trying out and experimenting with, and they're trying to pull in an audience from a variety of different arenas. So this makes for a really chaotic world.
Increased competition. That is a huge challenge for everybody. That is why it's important, Deborah, for us to identify our target niche, our ideal customers, identify those people that we can help, that we can provide information to. And these are people that will feel engaged when we provide them this useful information. It's so very competitive that we have to differentiate ourselves. It's important to keep things simple, Deborah. And the technology that is working today is online live. People simply expect to see us live, either offline or online as well.
Yeah, I think part of it is that craving for that real connection. So when it's live, it makes it as if the person, well, they're right in front of us and they're live, so we can actually engage them, which is different from a video recording. So it has a different feel to it psychologically, and people are embracing it more and more.
However, video is still very important.
Yes.
Yeah, live is preferred. However, video is also in demand because, as you can understand, there is a lot of information that can be provided through video. The viewer can see who you are, can hear how you speak, how you move. They can kind of read between the lines. A person can collect far more information from a video than simply the spoken words or any information that is displayed purposely on the video.
Yeah, there's no question, Marino, that all forms of technology are important. So the live video is important, the video is important, audio is important, because we know a lot of people are traveling in their vehicles to and from work, or they're moving and they want to listen to a podcast or they want to listen to an audio. So having that available to them without them taking their eyes off the road, for instance, is a good factor. So we just need to understand, how does our audience want to learn, and provide them the opportunity. And so What we love about LinkedIn is that they've done the research for us. So we know that the trends where things are moving to is because the online world, the different pieces of technology have actually done the research for us. Can I share a little bit more about the PowerPoints there, Moreno?
Please do.
Okay, so the aspect of the attention scarcity, the competition becomes really important. So how do we, if we are wanting to get into the online world and really leverage LinkedIn and get more eyes on us, what do we need to do or adjust and change? And so it comes down to these 4 behavioral aspects that we need to build into our marketing and our networking that become really important. So the number one factor is ensuring that we're top of mind, and you had mentioned that, Marino, because literally, if we're not the person that people are thinking about in the immediate moment when they go online, when they're thinking of visibility, when they're thinking of marketing online, when they're thinking of LinkedIn in general, then it becomes a problem. So whatever product and service, however you brand, the top of mind component is really important. So the advertising campaigns, they're the older trends, and the newer trends that are becoming massively more important now that people are following and finding great interest in is the live streaming. Is so important. Anything you want to share on there, Marino?
The time to jump onto live streaming is now, because it's not overcrowded yet. However, the rate at which it's changing, it is going to be overcrowded very soon. So we want to differentiate ourselves as soon as possible, and the best time is now.
Absolutely. So let's look at point number 2, which is introducing more of an emotional impact. So it's not just the head process, the analytical part of the thinking part of it. It is the emotion and the heart connection. This is where we build really solid relationships with people, and the authenticity comes in. So decisions are based on emotion when we make decisions. And a lot of it is, that's the huge driving factor, is the emotional component of how we're going to benefit when we make decisions. So when you can connect emotionally, heart to heart with people, and you can be authentic and real with them, and you're building your trust element, now what happens is that decision becomes a lot easier for people. They can see and experience in the moment what is possible for them.
There's no better technology than live video or virtual live events. It is when a person can see your moves, when a person can hear your stories. That is when your emotion comes through, and people can feel that. They make a connection with you. It's far more powerful than traditional video, and of course, much more powerful than the written word.
Definitely. Getting that point across, that emotional impact, that connection, where they can see how you move and how you're expressing things, your facial expression. That is the authentic connection that we need to make. Let's look at number 3, Moreno, which is delivering messages that are more human. So this is, of course, dealing with a brand that people can actually like and that they can trust. So share some ideas that you have about this, Moreno, with our audience.
Yeah, Deborah, we all have products or services that we either sell or have a need for. And traditionally, those services and products, especially the products, have seldom had a person associated with it. The focus was always on the actual product. What is it? How does it work? How does it look? And the same for a service. How easy is it to use, and do you need it? It'll do this or that for you.
Yeah.
However, behind these products and services, there are people, and that is what the market wants today more than ever. They want to see who are the people, or even better, who is the person behind this product, behind this service. Because we do business with people that we know, like, and especially trust. It's that credibility factor that is so very important. Once we are content and comfortable with the person or persons behind a product or service, we are far more inclined to purchase, to use that product or service. And it is so very competitive today that if the two products are the same, however, we know the owner or owners behind the one as opposed to the other, well, that is the one that we will favor, the one that has a persona behind it. That persona will stay top of mind, Deborah.
Yeah, Moreno, those are really good points, and really important points for us to remember when we're moving forward with the visibility of products and services. So everything that you shared there is really critical to make that work for people, because people are craving curiosity of not only knowing the people behind the product, but the reasons why they created the product and the service to begin with. Because there's a story behind that. And people love stories, they
Yeah.
like that connection. And then they can really relate to that much better. And that builds the relationship as a whole. So let's move on to the next one, which is uh, number 4 here, which is connecting more deeply with the professional audiences. And of course, this is what we've been talking about too. Um, so our products and services, of course, doing it in real time with LinkedIn Live as one of those features becomes huge, because people can take the content and material and then apply it immediately. So if we're sharing information, we want to make sure we're sharing value that people can go, I can use that, I can implement it and put it into practice right away to reap the benefits from that.
People want to hear stories, as you just said, because stories engage people, good stories. People always want to know the reasons why. And for these are the reasons why we need to connect more deeply with people through engagement over time. It doesn't happen overnight. And the stories also evolve. They are not necessarily one story alone. It's like a book with
Yeah.
chapters. Tell them the first chapter, then on another occasion, the second chapter. And that way, build relationships. Yes, as you mentioned, stories are important, and building those relationships is very, very important. In fact, more important today than ever before. The reason being that it's so very competitive. The one way to differentiate ourselves is to tell stories and build relationships. I mean, that has always been important. However, I think it's more important today than ever. Deborah, would you agree?
I would definitely agree. So there's another point that I wanted to add here too, which is there are people that are nervous about getting on live. There are people that are nervous about getting on video and online. They're uncomfortable with the process. I mean, as a speaker, when I was doing a lot of live presentations, it was easier for me to do live than it was for the online world, because there's a learning curve in that process. And part of that fear factor of going live with people is going, well, what if they don't like me? So really what I want to say to the audience members, if any of you are thinking of that, what if they don't like me? What if they don't want how no, they don't like what I'm delivering or the content or the way it's delivered? Here's the thing. The people that are meant to love you and really embrace your messaging, when it's refined and really when it's well developed, they're going to love you and embrace your message. The others, don't even worry about them, because here's the truth. Not everybody's going to love you, and not everybody's going to love your message online. So the idea is that it helps you to really niche down your market too, so that the right people are in front of you, the ones that you're meant to connect with. Think of that as sort of a divine connection, if you want to express it in those terms.
This fear of people not liking us is a figment of the imagination. There are always people who will dislike us. I have so many people that dislike me. For those people who are afraid to be disliked, well, stay in your room and don't go out ever. You know,
Yeah,
birds of a feather flock together.
they do.
I think I learned that in elementary school, and I've never forgotten it.
It's
We
a
just
true
we,
factor. I got to tell you.
we just need to find the right feathers.
True. So let's talk about LinkedIn, because LinkedIn has really added some really cool things in the last little while, that are called creator tools for people that want to create online. Because really, what you're doing is when you go live and you're leveraging a variety of these tools, you are in fact creating. We're creators. Naturally, we're creators. When you want to deliver benefits, value to people, you're a creator. That's what you are.
Yes.
So let's go through each of these tools here. The number one tool is starting a conversation, which is the short form post, that a lot of us really are very familiar with. Um, Number two is standing out in the feed, which is with images and videos. That's how you stand out, because remember, most of the audience is visual. So giving them something exciting or interesting to look at becomes really important.
Yes.
Number three is connecting in real time, which is LinkedIn Live videos. We'll talk more about this. And of course, number four, telling a story, where you get a chance to also upload documents here. Number five creator tool is getting published. So this is a feature called LinkedIn Articles, which allows you, getting published a lot more information in sort of a very special template to lay out the articles. Number six is notifying your followers. So you can also benefit doing a newsletter here. So a lot of people are very comfortable with the newsletters that are emailed out to their database. But now we have another tool where we can do the newsletters online in the LinkedIn world, and which also makes it really easy for people to share as well. Number seven is bringing people to you, which is creating an event. And number eight is discovering the impact that you have, which is using the creator analytics. When you put all these tools together, this is really a very powerful platform. Anything you want to add there, Moreno?
I think you summarized this very well. Perhaps other slides will identify single ones, will single them out.
Sure, definitely. So let's just talk about a couple of things here. We're getting all the tools that you need to share your voice. And these creator tools that LinkedIn has put together is about you being visible, you understanding that you have a voice, you have a point of view, you have a perspective that people need to hear. And so a lot of this is getting over the fear, moving through that, and really developing your mental mindset around the fact that you need to be heard. It is your God given gift to be heard and have a point of view and a message and to stand up for that principle. LinkedIn is very much behind that as a process. So, LinkedIn is where quality conversations happen. We learn more about all the tools that will help you lead them. So, you get all the tools that you need to share your voice.
Deborah,
So, sure, go ahead, Moreno.
the previous slide talks about sharing your voice.
Yeah.
And then you said that these are LinkedIn's creator tools. In other words, we are all creators.
Yes.
We create things, we invent things, and we are all original. And the moment that we are original, we have the power to create. And that is when we need to have our voices heard. And LinkedIn has provided these various tools to do that. Everyone is interesting, and we must stop comparing ourselves to others. The audience is huge, and guaranteed there are people there that will like whatever it is that you're creating and presenting.
I agree.
The
So,
worst is not to have a voice. The worst is not to say anything. The worst is not to get started. Just do
yeah.
it. As
Yeah, and the beautiful place to start, of course, is right here with this slide with a conversation. So this is what we call a short form post. It's sharing information in the very simplest form. Remember, we love simple. Moreno and I love simple and recommend simple. So using them makes it easy to post consistently about interesting topics, sharing industry news, or simply asking an engaging question. And there is also a, oops, let me just back up here because I want to just share a pro tip around that, which is using hashtags or the @ sign @ mentions to help you get discovered. And a lot of that is we use the hashtags or we use an @ to connect with certain people because they're directly connecting to those individuals. The software connects with those individuals, and it pops up on their feed or their notifications that, hey, somebody's trying to connect with them, and directly mentioning them or asking them a question. So those niche hashtags establish your area of expertise, and they tend to outperform broad hashtags like hashtag marketing. So we really want to create some niche hashtags. That becomes really critical for when we move forward. The second one is standing out in the feed. So this is where we talk about the images and the videos that add a visual impact to the post, and they tell a story in a way that words can't, or that words will simply take too long. So it has that initial, immediate, enormous impact. So you post an image or a video now, and the pro tip on that is the videos and images don't need to feel professional. They to be really effective, be more realistic with the approach, be more authentic with your videos and your images without all the touch-ups that go along with it and all the fake filters. So it just creates that deeper connection and helps you to engage with people a lot more effectively. Any comments about that, Moreno?
Just be yourself, and
Yes,
people will love you.
definitely. That's so important, right? Connecting in real time. This is what Moreno and I were talking about, really what we're doing here right now, which is the LinkedIn Live. It lets you talk to your audience in the moment to share their reactions, your reactions to what's sort of breaking and new in the industry. And it is important that you kind of go into your LinkedIn section, you turn on the creator mode, and then in the creator mode, it actually will tell you whether or not you have access to LinkedIn Live. If you don't have access to it, you can actually make an application, but it will tell you whether you've got it or not automatically. So pro tip here is consistency matters. Moreno and I do these LinkedIn Lives every Thursday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, every Thursday consistently. So whether you go live once a month or you do it once a week, consistency helps to set the expectation for the audience so they can kind of schedule it in their calendar, or they know once it's been posted, they can go back and watch it if they tend to have a conflicting appointment at that particular time. So it's knowing when the next broadcast essentially is going to be happening. And listen, they're only going to pay attention if it's of real value to them, and it's going to help to build their visibility. Any comments on that, Moreno?
I agree with you. Nothing new to add.
Yeah. So listen, tell a story. This is a big part of this. So, and this is this section where we upload documents to share presentations, playbooks, other pieces of long form content with every inspiring detail that brings the story to life. So posting a document becomes really important. This is a great place to share information. Pro tip, upload multiple documents, creates a carousel that can bring a story to life or showcase a portfolio. Anything you want to add there, Moreno?
I think most people like to tell a story. If you look at people around you, Deborah, most people have something to say, change it into a story.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, next part, of course, is getting published. And I think this is really important. This is you having a point of view and a perspective. So the feature, the LinkedIn articles feature is beautiful for helping you to become a published author or to start the process of publishing. But even if you are a published author, this is another avenue for visibility where you could take pieces of content and information and upload it. So articles are great longer form platforms to share your insights and establish yourself as a thought leader in the marketplace. So pro tip, set your profile settings to public so your article can be publicly distributed and searchable on LinkedIn. And I think that is a great, huge value add for your business. Any comments about that, Moreno?
No, you covered that very well.
Okay, the next one is, of course, notifying your followers. This, you can start a newsletter to be able to do that, to regularly distribute content about a topic you're passionate about, ensuring your audience stays engaged and up to date with automated in-app and email notifications. So this is where you want to turn on creator mode to check to see if you actually have access to the newsletter component. So the news for newsletter inspiration, you can always visit LinkedIn's top picks of amazing newsletters by creators like you. So those will definitely help you to get started. Anything you want to add there, Moreno?
Find articles that are relevant to you and
Yeah,
pick out those points that will make a difference.
definitely. Good point. So you can see what other people are doing that are highly successful and follow along and model that principle. But I love what you just shared there, Marina. Really relevant to the topic that you're sharing in particular, the point of view and perspective that you want to share. So the next aspect is about bringing people to you. So creating an event is a beautiful way to do that. You can create an event, and then you can also do a LinkedIn Live. You could do a webinar. You could do a master class. You can do a mini presentation. So you're basically inviting your followers to participate, and you're giving them a destination to receive any updates. So plus spreading the word ahead of time with automated notifications is a real plus here. So the pro tip is, if you are planning a LinkedIn Live, you want to use an event to schedule it in advance and drive more participation. Anything to add, Moreno?
LinkedIn has a built-in promotion system. You create your event. In the event, you add a list of hashtags, not more than 5. 3 is ideal. And LinkedIn will automatically bring your audience's attention to your event for corresponding hashtags.
Beautiful. True. And then, of course, we have discovering the impact that you have, and analytics is a really big part of this. So we can use the creator analytics to measure your post total impressions and engagement over time. And you can learn much more about your audience and export key data so you can improve the ways that you actually create. So this is basically real-time information of knowing how you're connecting with people. So you turn on the creator mode to start using your creator analytics. And the pro tip here is using engagement demographics to identify the audiences that your content resonates with, and then you tailor your posts to start, to spark conversations with them. Anything to add, Moreno?
These reports, these analytics are important because they provide feedback on your performance.
Yeah, and I think we forget those sometimes, right? I mean, from an engineering point of view, you really understand that, Marino, of how critical that is. Taking the time to analyze those things when you're doing your marketing becomes really important for making sure you're much more effective in how you deliver your content and material. So let's look at the ones that we're going to talk about here, which is the creator tools for LinkedIn creators. So number 2, which was standing out in the feed with the images and the videos, how important. Number 3 is connecting in real time, which is what we're doing with LinkedIn Lives. And then number 7, you're bringing people to you, which is leveraging the tool for creating an event is really important. So again, we were talking about connecting in real time. So that LinkedIn video allows you to talk to your audience in the moment and share relevant information or breaking news. Consistency matters here. I think we're just doing a repeat here of a recap of what we had shared. Number 2 is the LinkedIn video lets you talk to your audience, so in the moment. So consistency is what we want you to do. As we had shared earlier in this live, Moreno and I do this every Thursday morning. So this is really important for you to be consistent on a regular basis. You can start off once a month, and you can go to weekly if you want to be able to do that. But this makes the difference. Bringing people to you, which is, of course, creating the event, is really important. So this is how Moreno and I support even you if you want to come on LinkedIn Live, how we could create an event for you and do the LinkedIn Live or support you in interviewing you live online. And then standing out in your feed with the right images and videos that are going to capture people's attention, that are much more impactful. So these things, again, they don't have to be professionally done, but we can certainly make sure they're relevant to you and relevant to your audience, so that they can tap into more engagement here. So that's where we, of course, the visual component, we always recommend that people be as professional as possible. But the idea is we just want it to be real and we want it to be authentic. So we're basically kind of at the end here, Moreno, but we have something really special we want to share with our audience for next week. Tell us a little bit about that.
This is going to be exciting because Kirsten has a very original, innovative, very creative way of getting teams in corporate settings to become more productive. They become more cohesive, and the results are just spectacular. And the approach that she uses is a fun approach. And when we talk about fun, we think of games, and that's exactly what Kirsten does. She plays games with corporate teams, and they love it. And the results, as I said, are jaw-dropping. So I'm curious to hear more about this methodology that she uses.
So this is an opportunity for you to book off in your calendar right now, next Thursday, which is going to be the 21st, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern time, so that you can watch the LinkedIn Live with Kirsten Anderson. So we're really excited to have her as a guest speaker and share her amazing talent with you.
Yes, so next week there are going to be 3 of us here, not just 2. So it'll be more exciting, and you won't be as bored.
So Moreno, this has really been another great session. Thank you for participating.
Thank you, Deborah, for explaining to us that there are 3 important components we should not forget. Create a LinkedIn Live video event, then create just an event to promote the LinkedIn Live, and at the very end, you're in a position to create easily and quickly videos.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you, Moreno. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Deborah. Goodbye, everyone.